अपना सरवना बेतून हर आनंद होता है. Because the secret has been disclosed by the Commissioner of Police Intelligence. Report has been perfect. My daughter-in-law indeed belongs to this place, and we're very proud of the Maharashtra connection.
Thank you. Talk to them first. Thank you, everybody. I am so happy being here in front of all you real heroes. And a real hero come here and he gets an opportunity to talk to a real hero here. So first of all, I would like to thank everyone and thank you very much, Vijayjit, for giving me this chance. I must tell you, when I came to know about him and when I read about him, and you will not believe it, on my phone, his name is written as Legend Vijay Kumarji. So that is how that's the kind of respect I have for him. I have, I've actually, while coming back in the car, sir, I had some few questions which I wanted to ask you. Um, like this operation was called Operation Cocoon, right? So why Cocoon? Why you could have had Operation Tall Man or an Operation Big Mustache, something.
Um, Actually, the whole operation was done in silos. A, B will know what they are doing, but the C and D will not know what these guys are doing. So the innermost core was me and Sandamare Kannan. Very often the code names were just picked up at random, just off the sleeve without any even premeditation. So Cocoon, before that we had an operation called Inundation, where we flooded this area with our troops. Small teams were injected into that area to terrify him, and he was living in a cave, eating only eggs and water and eggs, nothing else. High protein diet I have mentioned. And that cave was highly impregnable, much worse and much sinister than the caves I have seen in Kashmir and other places. So the word inundation was just taken like that. Initially, like you said, we had this big, something like a big mustache came to our mind. But cocoon, we said, normally what happens, the butterfly goes to freedom, bursting the cocoon. Sometimes we use the word cocoon to say cocoon or cloistered, sequestered, or isolated. So in that sense, it just occurred and we said, Kannan, let it call as cocoon. The vehicle itself was called cocoon. That is the origin of this.
I'd like to also know, like in my house, my wife is a writer, and I am a fighter who fights on screen, and you are both of that, writer and a fighter. So, but there's always a fight. My job is very tough. She says her job is very tough. So, will you just tell us which job, fighter or a writer?
First of all, I am an admirer of your wife's writing. Please compliment her. I have not met with her in person, and I have been very beautiful, lovely humor, and I enjoyed every bit of it. Now, between these two, I am like a shoulder-fired missile. I mean, people think that I am a big guy, but I have been fired from the shoulders of my guys. When I was a cop, all the junior cops fired me, and I used to be sitting on the shoulders. As a writer, again, people like Kapish, Vikas Singh, who was my partner, then all the Sharwani, and then you had Amrita, then you had Yamini and people like that. So I got a team here also. So I continue to play the same role, delegating, getting things done and pushing. Both are equally matching.
No, but you have to pick one because मेरे घर में बड़ी problem चल रही
Now,
है. I'm saying my job is very
so
hard.
now that I can no more be a real fighter because uniform has been taken away from me on 30th of September 2012, I can't don the uniform. Still I am retaining some of them. Hoping sometime the age will go to like US Supreme Court judges have no age. You can die in office. Hoping that some order, something may come some other time. I'm holding on. There won't be. If in this present phase, I am a writer, but I'm a fighter. I mean, writer who is fighting to be a writer. It can be that way. My struggle is very protracted. Writing is not an easy thing. I was a very lazy writer. I am okay as a reader, more of a plodder. I read slowly, steadily, 25 pages. And if I touch a book, if I like it, for example, Raghu Karnad, he's here, famous writer. Father's Fields, when he wrote the book, he's sitting here. Can I ask Raghu Karnad, where are you? Raghu. So when I read books like that, that one word you mentioned, that people die twice. One, they actually they die, and second time when the people who have the memory of the man who died also die. So these kind of things touch me. Very good expression, turn of phrase, good emotions represented well. I keep picking up the ideas. And even in the middle of the night, I just wake up and note down in a slip of paper. And I went on collecting a whole lot. And finally, it helped me to condense it and a lot of other support. So to your question, my answer has been that now I'm a fighter in the form of a writer. Snatch your sleep because it's not often given to you. Nobody offers to you. Whenever you get it, snatch it. So we normally sleep around afternoon because our second part of the day begins again. 6 o'clock comes in between the peak time for you. So better put the SOP, revise it and tell your goons to keep you free at 6 o'clock and try to have an early meal. But there's a lot of science behind what he says. I recently read the guys who are going very, very late to sleep, the liver function is supposed to be at its peak at a certain time. And at 3 to 4, you're going to penalize and have a food only 2 hours before the liver is not going to respond. But of course, there are exceptions. There are deadly guys who are nocturnal. I have mentioned a couple of fellows in my book also. There are absolute owls. But to be a lark is a better thing, I guess.
Yeah.
And you are a lark. One day I WhatsApped you and you are replying. I thought the reply will come around 9 o'clock. He was replying at 5:30 and was already on his way to somewhere. He said he's going for his.
I was doing my dubbing.
Tell me one more. Last question, sir. Chief guest, sir. Last question for my side. You're in a very interesting field where you've got the whole team, you orchestrated and everybody working for. So sometimes you reach success even when you had not anticipated something will be a hit. Even when you have not anticipated so much, something will become a big flash and big hit. Sometimes when you have planned and you thought it's going to be a deadly hit, it may not reach there. So how do you cope?
Well, coping, say I have done about 130 films by now, and this it's become a part of my life. Lot of times, even when I look at a movie in a trial or something, and I see, I think this is going to work, and it doesn't. All I can say is it gives me motivation to work more harder and to go ahead and try and do something more spectacular and make it an event out of it or something like that. So, but the whole idea is to work more harder and harder in this film industry. So that's the only way.
Also, your being so humble when you're at the peak of success is also something which made me look at you as a kind of role model in that sense. I have multiple role models, and in that sense, I admire you. When I went to Sukma, where we lost 12 CRP constables, you are one of the first to offer something, 9 lakhs or 10 lakhs for each of the constables. Sometimes he doesn't publicize what he's doing. I was touched. Then you did something for the cancer patients, and that's why my special admiration, very, very special admiration for you. You may not like this being told by me, but I indeed, my special affinity or affection for you started with that.
Thank you.
Apart from your other reliable, solid qualities and the perpetual smile. Give it up. Wonderful to be with you, and thank you, Akshay.
Thank you
for
very
being
much.
with.
Thank you very much.